Hello, Jason from Australia. Thank you so much for coming on Malaysians on the Move. I'm so excited to speak to you because we have a few things in common. I know that you're in the tech world and you're really into AI, and I feel like there's going to be so much I can learn from you just by talking about those topics. But first, I would like for you to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your life in Malaysia, where you grew up, and how you ended up in Australia.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Yushni, for having me in this podcast. I'm so glad that you are promoting the Malaysian culture in overseas. A bit about myself, Jason Tan. I was born, bred, and grew up in Penang, Malaysia. Well, the capital of the foodie, right? I never really appreciated that whole fact until I moved overseas, until I start traveling in overseas, including Paris. Like I actually think that our food in Penang, some of them are much better in Paris city to some
Yes.
extent. Uh,
Isn't Penang the street capital of the world for street food?
Yes, I believe so. I think I read that in the Michelin guide somewhere. Yeah, so I went to school, secondary school, in Penang. I went to college in Malaysia, and as I was doing my diploma of computer science, one day I spoke to my mom and I said, "Hey, mom, I want to go and study overseas."
Oh,
And I asked her that question despite knowing that we couldn't quite afford it. We're not from a very rich family. And to my surprise, I thought that my mom rejected the idea as crazy, right? But all she said was like, well, if you could go and figure out where to get the tuition fee, go for it, son.
oh
And I was like,
wow.
okay. So I went hunting. I got a couple of study loan, came to Australia about 22, 23 years ago. I met my wife here. I have since then stayed and migrated to Brisbane, Australia. So that's my story, how I came to Australia.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're saying you took a loan and then you went to Australia to complete your studies and then you continued to stay there?
That is correct.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. And did you study computer science in Australia?
I did. So I finished the Bachelor of Information Technology at the Queensland University of Technology. I then stay and then I work for an insurance company. I work with the actuaries to build the pricing optimization system. So sometimes I joke that I am part of the reason why the insurance premium in Australia is so expensive now. I, I am partly responsible of that. And while I was working with the insurer, they also pay for my Master of Commerce, majoring in applied finance. So I did a finance master degree at the same time. Yeah, I was offered a role working with some of the smartest actuaries in the
Yeah.
world who were changing the way that how we price general insurance product like the home insurance, motor vehicle insurance, and that was such an opportunity that not only uh, did not exist in Malaysia, it was not
Yes.
everywhere else, including in Europe or in America. Like the work that we did was studied by the insurer in overseas. So it was really hard to say no for such opportunity when you were at the forefront of building a technology that was studied elsewhere by everyone on how to price, and that is how I got into the data analytic and AI, and we did a bunch of things that was pretty crazy back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear all about it. So right out of your schooling, you went and worked for the actuary pricing optimization. And then after that, I know you've had this it's like you've lived many lives with your entrepreneurship. So walk me through like each one.
Well, that I appreciate that. So I worked with the insurer for about 5 years, and then, like many other young people, I thought that, I know the world, I know everything, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know what? I really should started my own businesses. So I started doing a couple of things, contracting, etc., all the sort of things. Then I finally started my first real business. So that first real business is a digital marketplace for bicycle. So I was really into the cycling.
Oh.
There was only one platform selling new and used bicycle. So I thought that, you know what, that is such an opportunity in that. So I funded the whole thing myself. I worked with three engineers to build the platform. We spent 9 months to build the platform. As we were building, I go around and talk to the bicycle shop, and everyone told me that, Jason, yeah, we're gonna use it if you build it. So yeah, I went ahead and built it. But by the time we finished building, nobody comes.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
Nobody comes. So I folded the business after after one year and a little bit.
Can I ask if for the three engineers that you worked with, did you have to pay them or they were willing to work on it on a volunteer basis?
I had to pay them. So they were from overseas. They were from Eastern Europe, and so I had to pay them to
Ah,
build that. Yeah. So lesson learned. You got to be careful when you are entering a new industry, when you're doing a new thing. Just because you are doing so well in one area, it doesn't automatically get translated to another area. I think that is something that I wish I would have told my younger self. Nevertheless, I went back to do a few different things. I went back to my old trade, something that I was known for, I was really good at. I have the credibility and the reputation, which is building data analytic solution and advanced
oh,
analytic solution for the enterprises. So I did that for a couple of years. And when ChatGPT came around, I spotted and I smelled a new opportunity. It is one thing that I had to do manually day in, day out to prospect, to find customer, to generate leads
yeah.
for my analytics consulting business. And I realized that I could actually productize that whole
Platform.
manual
Mm,
and tedious work with large language model with OpenAI using the whole ChatGPT.
yeah.
This time, I bootstrap and scale it to 100,000 users around the world before I exited the business last year. So
Wow. Congratulations.
thank you, thank you,
Wait,
thank
can
you.
I ask if you built that by yourself or you also had hired a few people to do certain things for this business?
I had a really small team, but I have about 3 people, including myself. It would be 4 people to build this platform. So all these three, they are Malaysian. And so this really, really smart mathematician, she studied mathematics in Netherlands and then studied applied mathematics in Germany. When she went
Wow.
back to Malaysia, her first job was with me. So she helped me to build this particular platform. So she was the full stack engineer to build this whole thing. I then have another copywriter who was based in Malaysia, and then another all-rounded person who also helped me to do all these things. So basically, it's a team of 4 people, all Malaysian,
Awesome.
building this very generative AI platform that people use to help them to build relationship on LinkedIn. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you share a little bit about what made you decide to exit the business versus continuing to maintaining it?
That is a great question. Well, the number one, the offer is good. I can't say no to that particular offer. And then at the same time, I also think that there are so much different opportunities out there. So I want to see what else I can do. But more importantly, I could see that the acquirer could take this whole platform that I built to much, much further and make it bigger. So I was really happy to pass it on to the right hand who could push it much harder. And that really gave me the room and the opportunity to think about other area of using AI and also building AI. So yeah, it was the right offer plus putting in on the right hand.
Yeah, 100%. And this is something you shared publicly on your website, but during this time you were diagnosed with a medical condition.
Mm,
Specifically, you were diagnosed with cancer. Is that right?
that is correct. And
I'm really sorry to hear. I know now that you are in remission, and I would love for you to share more about your experience, what you
mm,
thought, during that time. Did you feel like life flashed in front of you, and did you question like what am I doing? Or did you actually
mm,
feel more energized to build your platform and like figure it out and just go for it?
absolutely. So that happened in the first year as I was building the Gen AI platform. I think it was like 8 months in. I literally just finished speaking at a conference and I was driving back and I thought to myself, I have this problem of the feeling like there are some fluid or the water inside the ear.
Oh,
And it was like bugging me for a couple months already. And as I was driving back, I thought like, well, maybe I should go and check with the doctor. So I did various tests, X-ray, MRI, biopsy, etc. And then they came back, Jason, you got cancer.
oh my
So
God. And
I
that
was
is like
like,
ear cancer?
it's called nasopharyngeal cancer. So it's right behind the nose and above the throat. And this is a funny thing that the ENT doctor told me. And he said that, hey, Jason, the cancer that you have got in nasopharyngeal is right in this area. It's very, very common in Southeast Asia and also the southern China. And the study suggests that is most likely because of the food consumption, because
Oh,
the people in this area, they like to eat a lot of the preserved food. And I was like, I have been in Australia for 20 years. I don't really eat those food. Number two, I eat really, really clean. And when I say I eat really, really clean, I mean like I don't eat processed food. I don't eat canned food. I try to eat the food where I can see is raw form. So
yeah,
I
the
thought to
Whole
myself,
Foods.
correct, right? And I thought to myself, how the hell does this happen to me?
Damn.
But life, it is what it is. That sometimes it will just throw you in a few lemon, and you just got to make lemonade out
Lemonade.
of it. Right? So that actually really put me into a challenging situation where I was still growing the AI product that I was building,
Yes.
and so I had really not much choice, and this is where I really have to thank my team in Malaysia who was
Right.
really taking it over when I was very much absent from the day-to-day operation, and they really helped me to carry through and continue to build, market, promote, and serve the customer. At the same time, we started building more AI agents
Mm.
to help us to streamline a lot of those operations. Simply because we didn't know what exactly was going to happen, but at the same time, we need all these AI agents to help us to serve the customer, to promote our product, to acquire customer, etc.
Yeah.
So in the end, I came out all right. I
Phew.
technically have survived. I technically, in the clinical term, I am now clear of cancer because of the post 2 years treatment.
But while you were getting treatment, were you bedridden and like had to sleep a lot, or like I don't really know what your treatment was. Was it
Mm,
surgery or did you take chemotherapy? Like was it like very tough on your body?
it was so my treatment consisted of two parts, chemotherapy and radiation.
Ooh.
Um, that was really exhausting. And I was at the end of the treatment. I was so exhausted that I literally was sleeping 16 hours a day on the bed,
Wow.
and a lot of my neck was damaged because of the radiation. And so I have to
Oh.
cover, I have to put a lot of band-aid, a lot of things to help it healing. And one really interesting thing and funny thing that every time I look back is that every day after I finished the treatment, every day I was recovering. Every month, every week, I was recovering. And at each of those weeks or each of those months, I felt I was better
Mm.
than before. But now that I look back, or the further that it went on, I only just to realize that how I was still so unwell and I was still so weak
Mm.
each of those days compared to the day coming next. My thought that I think this is really one thing that I want to share with everyone is that life will throw you so many different challenges unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And but it's not the end of the world. You
Correct.
just gotta keep optimistic,
Yeah.
carry on, and it will pass through.
Yeah. You're so right. And now that you're on the other side, if anything, you probably feel that you are like a Superman and you can do anything, right? Because you overcame that, and then you exited your business. And yeah, if anything, like that's really inspirational, and like it must feel light to be on the other side, is what I'm
Mm,
assuming.
mm. I wouldn't say I feel like a Superman, but I think I look at a lot of things with a newer perspective and different
Ah,
perspective, where chasing wealth is not the only thing
yeah,
that I should be pursuing. There are many other things. And also there are many other perspective and different way to do things that are not necessarily well portrayed or well discussed in the public or in the media. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. What is one example of that, if you don't mind sharing?
absolutely. And so that's one thing that I have found and I have felt, and coming up from both of those things is that in the media we have always looked up to the whole idea that you want to become the next Zuckerberg, you want to become the
Yeah.
next Jack Ma.
Yes.
It sounds good, right? I mean, everyone wants to be that. But there are different kind of challenges when you become one of those people. Like for
Correct.
example, you have to chase the money of VC, you have to go and get money from VC, you have to manage a team of like thousands, if
Thousands
not
of
hundreds.
employees. Yeah.
Correct. And it has all its kind of challenges. But in the new world that we are living in, it is entirely possible to build company with fewer employee, with fewer outside investment.
Yeah.
And all these are possible by using AI.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. I mean, this podcast that we're having is so timely because I actually quit my job like 3 weeks ago, and I
Mm,
had the corporate like 9 to 5 job. It's like
yes.
when you are small and you're young, you're like, oh, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to school, then university, then I'm going to get a job, then I'm going to get married, and then that's it.
Mm,
Live happily ever after. But then when you get all of that, and then you're like, wait, that's it? And
yes.
yeah, and the corporate world just suddenly felt very limiting. And like you said,
Mm,
like if you keep
mm,
climbing up the ladder, it's like, do I actually want to be Mark Zuckerberg? No. And yeah, the reason I quit my job also is because I want to like position myself as a builder and be like
mm,
a solopreneur. So just like
mm.
you said, like just build on my own. And yeah, I'm
Mm.
happy to share more about that like offline or later. But
Yeah.
I wanted to hear more about um how do you feel that things are in the West compared to like how things are in Malaysia? And one thing that I thought about was that I think the Malaysian education system is still not like we're not teaching kids and stuff how to use all these tools, right? And if they
Mm,
don't continue to evolve the education system, then the students are going to be forced to learn on their own.
Mm.
And I was wondering if you had any thoughts about that, and specifically to AI and the future of AI.
That is a really, really good question. So I have two kids. They are 7 and 5. So what I see
Oh,
in Australia, and in fact, I actually will be a speaker at one of the education conference in June coming up here in Brisbane. Really look
okay.
forward to that. But sorry, totally get distracted. Going back to what I was trying to say is that from what I see here in Australia, including really in Europe and the America as well, I don't think the West equally has done much in terms of like how we should educate kids
Yeah.
in this new world of
Yes.
AI. Everyone is still trying to figure out is the challenge, and they have this dilemma, right? Is that they know that they need to have AI because AI suddenly make it more efficient.
Yeah.
But at the same time, on the other side is like, um, but with the AI coming in, will the AI make the kids to have less critical thinking?
Thinking. Yeah.
That is the problem. So I don't think anyone has got a full answer of that. But the
Yeah.
problem that I am seeing of that is that they are still stuck in this debate. What I think though is that we should definitely try to do something and then learn from that. Because no one really have the full answer
Yeah.
until
I
you
do
start
agree.
trying it and until you start testing it. To answer your question, I don't think the West is doing much. I myself, I'm equally trying to figure out what I should do, how my kids should grow up in this new world of AI. 2 weeks ago, I signed them up to learn how to create their own game. So
That's
they
cool.
were watching the tutorial, they were they were playing and they were creating their own game. So I thought I achieved my goal where
Yeah.
they learn how to program and build a game. How cool is that?
That is very cool. And that's like the time because they're probably like so excited when it works, and they feel so
Exactly.
like that sense of ownership, right? When from like that
Exactly.
age. Yeah.
Mm.
So now that you've exited your business and you're now dabbling in other things, what are you focusing on now?
So now what I do is that I brought the AI agents that I built in my last businesses that help us to scale and build the last businesses. I am now building and maintaining all of those AI agents for SME, SMB around the world to scale their operation. And all of these for a monthly fee of $3,500 per month. We will
Whoa!
basically So we basically will build and maintain multiple AI agents for them. Yeah, that is what we are doing now.
It's a small team.
It is a small team. I literally only just started a few months ago after taking 6 months break. But yeah, it's a small team. We are getting started.
Yeah. In general, like even with your previous business where you scaled up to 100,000 users or more, how did you actually get the clients? Like, how did you do the outreach? Like, how did you put yourself out there?
Absolutely. I literally have one keynote presentation about that topic. I found that there are three things that work really, really well. And this is completely different, contradicting everything that we read
Oh,
on the news.
okay.
Like, in the news, we were told that we have to uh, build our follower, to build our audience on social media. We have to post more. I was almost convinced by that idea that I almost posted a video of myself dancing on TikTok, but luckily I did not.
Oh, because you're just trying to build your following. Yeah, I see.
I
I
know,
see.
right? I know, right? But to answer your question, three things that I found that work really, really well is number one is what I call engineering as marketing. So
Okay.
as an engineer, we actually have some skill and capability of marketer. We just have to think. and use it differently. So what I mean by engineering as marketing is like you want to build small and free tools
Mm.
that actually are going to be really useful for your target audience. You give it away for free and use it to attract people to come in. As they come in to use that free tool to solve their problem, they keep coming back and use it. You build that exposure, you build that brand
Mm.
awareness so that they discover your core offering and then subsequently they sign up and they convert it. So the free tool, think of it like the air pump at the gas station. Now
Yeah.
imagine if you are the only petrol station has got the air pump,
Mm.
what will happen? All the motor vehicle will come to your petrol station, get their tire
Free air.
filled with your air
Yeah.
pump completely free. At the same time as they are in, they will use your petrol to fill up their petrol. So that is what I call engineering as marketing. And then quickly, the other two is instead of building audience from scratch, you want to
Mm.
borrow audience from other people because building audience from scratch is very difficult.
Yeah.
Whereas by borrowing audience who already have the audience that you are targeting is a lot easier. And finally, AI agents. So we built a lot of AI agents to help us to do all different kind of things.
Yeah, yeah, that's very, very awesome. And yeah, you're right that the news actually does portray that you need to have a following, like, and you have to build your brand. And I think there's
Mm,
some things that are little true though. Like if you do have a brand, like you said, if you have some credibility,
correct,
that helps you as well. But you
correct.
don't need to have like you said, putting a dancing video and to become viral and things like that.
Mhm,
Yeah.
exactly.
Is there anything you want to share to budding entrepreneurs who are looking to take the leap and, try to build their own business?
Absolutely. I would say the number one thing that I would share with everyone is to think about the distribution channel and marketing because building a product is so much easier
Easier.
than
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
because everyone can build now. So the market is going to be full of offering and there will be lots and lots of offer, which means marketing will be harder and also much more expensive. So I
Mm.
would say for anyone who is building any kind of business, number one focus is about distribution channel and marketing. Think about that from day one. If
That's
if
me.
you
I
you're
needed to
doing
hear
a
that.
great job.
I
You're
needed to hear
doing a
that. Yeah.
if you go back to my very first business, right, is that I spent 9 months with a team of 3 engineers to build a platform, thinking that if I build it, people will come, and that was entirely wrong.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
entirely wrong. My last business, we built it in a weekend, and then we focus on distribution. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well said. That's really, really good advice. And would you say that you feel quite rooted in Australia? Like you feel like you have found your community? I know you're very active in the
Mm.
tech space, but do you sometimes feel like you miss Malaysia and things about home?
I certainly do, especially I grow older. My goal is that I want to be able to spend more time in Malaysia, especially in Penang, where I can spend 3 months over there, take the kids, take the family over there, and then another 6 months here in Australia. Now that I have built the company and the team to be 100% remote, I feel like I am progressing towards that goal that I would be able to do it more freely and whenever I want. Yeah.
I normally end by asking the golden question, which is, will you ever move back to Malaysia someday? But I feel like you kind of alluded a little bit to your
Mm,
ideal, which is to kind of live partially a few months in a year in Malaysia
mm.
and but yeah.
That That is correct. I have spent 20 years here, but I actually really want, and I have been spending more time in Malaysia. especially I think in this new world that we are in, there is so much opportunity of the AI opportunity that I reckon that I believe that the Malaysian can benefit and can take advantage. And what I mean by that is that the world now is led by either American or the mainland China in terms of the AI. And then for the rest of the world, they almost feel like they have to choose between one of them to a certain extent. And that actually open a new opportunity, which you can see, right, is that
Yeah,
company are opening up AI data center in
in Malaysia.
Malaysia
Yeah,
for the political reason. But I actually think that there is so much more that we can do other
yeah,
than opening and running and maintaining data center for
agreed.
these big corporate in overseas. I actually think that, I mean, having travel and live overseas multiple places, I actually think that our education system, we have really a lot of smart people, smart kids in Malaysia who can actually take on the world of the AI and to be able to build and create something that we can offer to the rest of the world.
Yeah,
And when the world say, you know what is the third option?
yeah, that's right. Wow, that's ambitious, I will say. The problem here that I see is that we leave Malaysia, and like you mentioned with your actuary position, right? Like the reason you took the job was because you couldn't get that kind of opportunity anywhere else in the world at the time. And
Mm,
I think a lot of Malaysians want to study overseas after Form 5 and into university, right? Like we have that kind of culture. Whereas I'm
mm,
sure if you talk to Australians or other people, they don't really see going abroad for your university as a norm. Whereas for
mm,
Malaysians, Singaporeans, like, oh, we want to go to UK, Australia, or US,
mm,
that's kind of the norm.
mm,
And I think
mm,
because the perception is that we will have a better career in these other countries. And to
mm,
some extent, I think that is true because like
mm,
you said, to work with the best of the best, like it's almost like you have to leave. But I
mm,
think if we are then working with the best of the best and then we are
mm,
also not around, then we Malaysia is just losing the best of the best as well.
mm.
And there must be a middle ground for the best of the best around the world to give back to Malaysia without physically being in Malaysia, right? Like, and that's
Yeah,
the kind of thing that AI can unlock as well.
that is that is exactly spot on. And there are two different perspectives to look into it, right? Is that so we'll start with the first one is which is like people like yourself, people like myself who are in overseas, who have built the network and the contact with all of these overseas counterparts who equally have the access to this technology, to this knowledge, and understanding how it gets implemented in overseas. And for me, and I can sense that from you, is that you want to be able to contribute back
Yeah,
to Malaysia because Malaysia is where we grew up, where we
yeah,
were born. I spent 20 years in there. And I spent another 20 years in Australia. But culturally, I am still very reminded of my Malaysian root, my Malaysian culture.
yeah.
I no matter I know steak is really nice, it's really tasty. I have it once in a month, but every now and then I still want to go back to my char kway teow. I
Yes,
still want to
yes.
go back to my char kway teow. Now, my point is that is quite a significant group of these people, like yourself, myself, who were born and bred in Malaysia but now staying in overseas. They actually want to give back and they want to spend more time to Malaysia. And the country and the government could take advantage and benefit from how these people are giving back. So that is one point. The second point, from the Malaysian perspective, who are still in Malaysia, after all this year, I actually don't think that is any different in terms of the intelligence just because of the skin
Yeah.
of your color. It's
Yes.
really just how you are culturally minded in terms of your importance of the education. Um, I don't think that we Malaysian are any less than any other people in overseas. We have
100%.
some really, really smart and intelligent people. And what we lack is probably the branding. I think we still
Yeah.
stuck in the branding in a way that we can only manufacture and create product for other people as opposed to moving on to the next stage, which is creating our own brand with the product that we can manufacture. I think that's probably the world
Yeah.
that we kind of like get stuck in Malaysia. But the point that I'm trying to say is you have a lot of really smart and intelligent Malaysian, and with the world is so open now with the internet and everything, you don't want just to take the market of Malaysia. You
Yeah.
want to be able to offer your services and your product to the rest of the world. The
World. Yeah.
question then is that how you can connect these two group of the people and
Mm.
work together and create something for the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's awesome. Well, Jason, this was so nice talking to you. You have so much of advice and you're like a pro entrepreneur. The world can learn from you. It's been so awesome talking to you.
You are too kind. Your word is too kind. Thank you, Yoshi.